The trick. Just as those of us old enough to remember, almost 40 years ago, where they were and how they felt when Kennedy was assassinated, we will all remember 9/11/01. These events and images have been intentionally ingrained into our consciousness. This is very important to remember. The reason this is so vital is we need to fully realize the masters of deception who are behind this massive drama are stage masters and magicians of the very highest order. Always remember, the magician twirls his cane seductively and gets us to look off into the sky. Yes, those jets did slam into the WTC and Pentagon, and almost 3,000 people died. To be sure, this was one of the most unjust, deadliest, and cold-hearted attacks on civilians in history. The personal terror and destruction generated were no illusions. At the same time, if we are to free ourselves of this matrix of fear, we must break out of the mental boxes that have been subliminally masterminded into our thought programs. The trick that has been played on us so successfully by the power elite is to create a massive cultural subconscious of primal fear. Fear takes us out of our heart space and destroys our intellectual process. Those who do not use their God-given power of objective intellectual reasoning are controlled by the vagrancies of an undisciplined mind and are easily duped. Those who do not stay centered in their heart space are easily moved toward the self-destructive energies of anger, hate, revenge, confusion, and fear. Hegelian Principle. When viewed objectively from a historical perspective, one can see that the events of 9/11 were the classic setup using the Hegelian Principle. George Wilhelm Hegel, 1770 to 1831, was a German philosopher who is today considered one of the most influential thinkers in modern times. Hegel's articulation and teaching concerning successive phases in the consciousness and awareness of man is still part of the bedrock of philosophical teaching. Hegel is known for his theorem, thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. A simplified English translation is problem, reaction, and solution. For hundreds of years, the Illuminati have used the Hegelian process to further their cause. They secretly create a problem, the general population reacts with fear, and the solution is to transfer power to those who originally created the problem. It is effective and diabolical. An example of this process is Roosevelt's agents had cracked the Japanese secret codes and knew that Pearl Harbor would be attacked months in advance. However, FDR intentionally never gave this information to the naval base commander because he wanted a cause to enter the war. Previous to the attack, the people of America were overwhelmingly opposed to getting involved in either the European or Asian conflicts. After the so-called surprise assault, Congress reacted and declared war in the next few days, while the vast majority of citizens who understandably believed this story patriotically came together to fight. For those people who believe in fairness and goodness, even considering that rogue elements in our government could carry out such wicked actions, this is difficult to comprehend. It is essential that good and honest people consider the accusations and, more importantly, the evidence. This evidence documents how federal agents have initiated violent and increasingly deadly action against innocent American citizens, i.e., Ruby Ridge, Waco, the World Trade Center bombing of 1993, Oklahoma City, TWA Flight 800, and now 9/11. If this evidence is correct, that unconstitutional and lethal force is being used against our own citizens, together with the accusation that the predominant media is intentionally presenting untruthful information, then, well, you be the judge. This booklet is not for everyone, but it is for those who love their country and have that rare quality called an open mind. Today in America, about 1% of the population can connect the dots. They realize that a handful of self-professed elite have virtual control of our banking system, of our movies, of the news outlets, and of both political parties. Until and unless we increase the relative numbers of citizens who understand this reality to at least 5% of the population, a critical mass, our culture will continue its march toward a one-world fascist government. This is definitely not fun to write or think about. However, it is a present truth. And as the Bible has said,
let those who have ears listen.
This booklet is presenting evidence that goes against everything that the mainstream media and political structure would have people believe. For many people, including myself, this is a very difficult pill to swallow. However, only by facing our fears will we be able to understand the truth and to live in real freedom and love. As Jesus said,
the truth shall set you free.
Hopefully, when people become aware of the massive and draconian fraud that has been perpetrated on our nation, enough people will awaken from their dreamlike slumbers to take appropriate action to restore the ideals of our republic. Perhaps these thoughts and ideas can be part of that process.